Well, folks, there's been plenty of reports over the last week or so about how horrible it is for Trump's aides. You know, they can't find jobs. They've said that the stigma of being associated with Trump is keeping them from getting new jobs. A month before that, Trump was firing anybody that was even looking for jobs, as reports told us. So they're kind of stuck. And unfortunately for these aides, and this is something that we should feel sorry for them for, they're actually finding themselves in a unique position at the moment, according to what they've said to reporters this week. And that is that they have become babysitters for an extremely violent toddler. And no, there isn't a new resident of the White House. That very violent toddler they're talking about is in fact Donald Trump. According to reports, aides in the White House are now acting as his babysitter in order to prevent him from doing anything too drastic and from further screwing up the country in the short time that he has left in office. Here's a quote from here. One senior Trump administration official, according to the Daily Beast, described the activity around the outgoing president as a prolonged act of, quote, babysitting a violent toddler that aides and chief advisors hope to get through in the next week without Trump triggering any more history-making disasters. Okay. I've said in the past, I have no more sympathy for these people for not being able to find jobs. For having to be in this position, I do have a little bit of sympathy, and I actually do want to say thank you to these individuals, because that is a daunting task, right? You're literally, your stated purpose at this moment is to prevent any history-making events because of what happened last week. Like, you're so desperate to prevent a repeat of any of that they have resorted to babysitting. So what does that mean? What does that mean that they're babysitting Trump? Well, according to the report, they're printing out articles, pro-Trump articles, and giving him those, and articles talking about how horrible it is that he has allegedly been censored from social media for inciting violence in the riots on Capitol Hill. So they're printing out lots of wonderful articles that heap praise upon him, and that is doing a pretty good job of keeping him distracted, which is nice. Hopefully they steer clear of poll numbers, because his approval rating now is in the low 30s after last week, so that's got to hurt. Hopefully they're tuning out Fox News, because Fox News hasn't been as kind to him as he would like them to be this week and for the last year. So, yeah, keep him away from the bad stuff. For the love of God, don't show him any of this. Not that any of you watch it. Nevertheless, I will, probably not doing much to help his mood here with this stuff, I imagine. But either way, how horrible is it that the President of the United States, who still has access to the nuclear codes, is being described as a violent toddler in need of babysitting? I wish conservatives would take a lesson from this. I really, honest to God, wish y'all would look at this and say, wow, maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe some of you Trump flag waving, MAGA hat wearing folks should look at this and say, wow, maybe he's not the pinnacle of masculinity that I thought. Because trust me, anybody that's actually spent any time with him and is no longer having to be tethered to him, they're going to tell you the exact opposite. So maybe it's time for the rest of MAGA world to wake up and see this charlatan the way everybody else on the planet sees him.